everybody. So I've just realised I've made my first error. I've recorded this video in portrait format rather than landscape. So you'll have to forgive me, guys. I'll get it right next time. Natalie, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I have decided to set up this channel because I want to start sharing with you all and with anybody who is remotely interested what the process looks like when it comes to selling your house and buying a new one. I have been looking at a lot of videos on YouTube recently, and there's so many videos about like house renovations, but I couldn't really find many that talked about the process or the experience that people have had when it's come to selling their property and then buying a new one. And so that's why I've decided to start vlogging and posting these videos so that hopefully somebody watching them might actually benefit from it, or maybe just enjoy watching them, really, because I know that I actually have really enjoyed watching other people's YouTube videos, so you never know, someone might enjoy watching mine. So a little bit about me. So I live in Cheshire with my husband Josh, who probably won't be featured very often in these videos. He's at work at the minute and doesn't actually know that I'm doing this, so I don't know what his reaction will be. So, slight correction at this point, Josh does now know that I am creating a YouTube channel, and as suspected, does not intend to be featured on my channel regularly. But I'll do my best to try to pull him into maybe 1 or 2 videos going forward, but we'll have to see. So Josh and I have lived in our current property for just over 5.5 years now. And when we bought the property, it needed a lot of work doing to it. So Josh is a joiner, he owns a small building company, and whilst the house needed a lot doing to it, to be honest, it was also kind of at the same time the perfect house for us, given Josh's expertise and the skills and experience that he has. We're quite lucky that we are generally able to do things a lot cheaper than perhaps what it would cost somebody if they didn't have the contacts or know of somebody that worked within the building industry. So we bought this house and over the last sort of 5.5 years, it's been pretty much a work in progress. A lot of my friends have said to me in the past, oh, you're so lucky to have somebody so hands-on, he's so clever, so manual, my husband can't even cut the shelf. And yeah, all of those things are true. He is very clever. He's able to just make stuff out of wood. Like we did the garden last April during the first lockdown, and he built this outdoor kitchen area completely from scratch, entirely on his own, and it looks amazing now. I'll probably do a video of that separately, but he is really clever, and there's no doubt about it. But the disadvantage to having a husband or a partner, or just being with somebody who works in the trades industry, is that your house is always the last house to get done. So Josh is working all day on everyone else's houses, and he's getting paid to do that. So, if you bring him in to do a kitchen, then yes, that kitchen is going to be done relatively quickly. Bring him in to do something in our house, and it isn't done as quick because he's doing it all day, and then when he gets home, the last thing he wants to do is carry on doing what he was doing during the day. So it has been a work in progress, and it has taken a while, but we've completed it now, and the finished result is lovely. We're really, really happy with it. And over Christmas, we were having conversations about, well, now that the house is done, what do we do next? Do we stay, or do we move on and do something else? And at that point in time, we were kind of deciding that actually we were going to stay, because this isn't our first house. We owned a property before this, and again, it needed work doing to it. So we did it up. we lived in it for maybe 3 years, sold it, and then obviously bought the property that we're in now. So we've kind of never really lived in a house that's finished, because as soon as it's finished, we've sold it. So that was the conversation we were having really over Christmas. Do we now enjoy what we've done, or do we move on? And we kind of decided that we were going to stay. But then we saw another house. And this house is just amazing, really. So I've always wanted to live in an older house, something, you know, with character, the traditional fireplaces, the coving, the bay windows, you know, that's the dream for me. It always has been. And Josh really wants to live in the countryside, particularly after the past year that we've had with lockdown and stuff. I think, you know, that feeling of confinement, kind of having to be in the same four walls all the time, I think it's made people realise, particularly us, the importance of having outdoor space. And being in the country is something that Josh has always wanted, but I think that COVID and lockdown is kind of just reinforced that and made him realise that actually it's something that he wants now rather than later in life. And so this house is not only 200 years old, but it's also in the countryside. So it's like tick for me, tick for Josh, really great. We saw it on Rightmove and we had a conversation about, you know, do we inquire about it? Because at that point in time, our house wasn't even on the market. But Josh was like, yeah, you know, let's give them a call and see what the estate agent says. So I phoned through to the estate agency and they actually agreed to allow us to view the property despite the fact that we weren't on the market at that point in time. So anyway, we viewed the property and it was just everything that we could have hoped for, really. It has all of the original features, working fireplaces, parquet flooring, all the original doors. The staircase that leads up to the first floor is the original oak staircase. So it's just like filled with character. It needs a lot of work. But that's okay, because again, you know, Josh doing what he does means that these sorts of things don't scare us off as much as perhaps what it would do if you didn't have a partner who was working in the building industry. So anyway, at the end of the viewing, we went away and decided, you know, we both discussed and decided, you know, we really, really love it. And we kind of want to know from the estate agent that's listing the property, you know, how can we like register that interest with the owner? So I had that conversation with the estate agent and she basically said, yeah, you know, you're not in a proceedable position, but you can register or give like an offer of intent, which basically just means that, you know, you're interested in buying the property and this is how much you want it, like this is the amount that you're prepared to pay, but ultimately until we're in a better position, we can't kind of formalize that. So we decided to put forward an amount to the estate agent to say, yeah, you know, this is our offer of intent. And then at that point, we weren't expecting to kind of hear anything back. But about an hour or so later, the estate agent phoned us back and said, you know, I've spoken to the owner, I've explained the situation, she knows that your husband's a builder, and she has said to me that if you increase your offer to X amount, she will take the property off the market and wait for your house to sell. What? Like the hell? We were just shocked, like we couldn't believe it. So we just looked at each other, like we didn't even need to have a conversation. It was okay, yep, fine, we'll increase the offer to what she wants. And then the estate agent immediately said, great, fine, your offer's been accepted. So We had just had an offer accepted on a house, but yet our house wasn't even on the market at that point. So we were like, one, we felt like just overwhelmed. And then secondly, we were like, oh God, we need to get our house on the market. So fortunately, we have a family friend who owns an estate agency, and I contacted him and just said, need your help, need it urgently. So he arranged to send members of his team out to the house that same week to get pictures, to do like the valuation, everything. And within a week, the property was on Rightmove. And we were just like getting swept away with how quickly everything was moving. We'd gone from just seeing this house on Rightmove that we really liked the look of, but kind of thought, well, you know, there's nothing we can do about it because we're not on the market, to having an offer accepted on that house, to then having our house listed on the market. All of this had happened in maybe 2-week period max. So everything was moving so fast. And as soon as it went onto the market, it's so funny, the amount of people that were driving by the house was just like crazy. I mean, we didn't know how much interest our house was going to get. I mean, in the village that we live in, at that point in time, when the property went on the market, there was literally like 4 or 5 other houses. But we didn't know whether, because of COVID and everything, people would want to perhaps like move at that point in time. But we were totally wrong. And then we sort of discussed with the estate agents that were listing our house how best to sort of conduct the viewings. With me working at home and stuff at the moment, like it's not really practical to have viewings during the week because of meetings and, you know, all my work stuff being everywhere. So we sort of said, you know, can we keep it to a weekend? And the estate agent was like, of course, you know, we'll do whatever you want. And they then actually suggested that we have almost like an open day where they get all of the viewings booked, but for the same day. And that day was on a Saturday. And we were obviously out of the house all day to allow for like the potential buyers to come in and look around without us being here. And when we got home later that evening, our next door neighbour sort of came by and said, you know, it was like a conveyor belt of people coming in and out of the house. There was, I think, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 viewings on that Saturday. And by the end of Saturday, we already had, I think it was 2 offers on the table at that point. But what we wanted to do was give the other people who viewed the property the opportunity to kind of like think it over, because not everyone is going to be prepared to like make an instant decision. So we left it a couple of days, and then by the Tuesday we then had 4 or 5 offers on the table. So yeah, we felt really fortunate, and in the end we accepted an offer from some first-time buyers. So our situation now is that we've gone from saying that we want to stay in our house for, not forever, but for like a little while longer, to the house now being sold, an offer being accepted on another house, and everything is like moving quite quickly. We've had the survey completed on the house that we're buying, and the survey on our house has been completed today. So things are like moving in the right direction. It will be interesting to see what happens as a result of the surveys, both surveys. Like, we've got to wait for the full report to come back on the one that we're buying, and obviously the people that are planning to buy ours, they need to wait for their full report too. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that, and whether that kind of like affects or influences what's happening in any way. But yeah, that's where we are at the minute. So I will keep you guys posted on what happens and how things progress. I'm sure that there will be twists and turns along the way. So if you want to find out more about what's happening, if you're interested, then please leave a comment and hit subscribe, or don't leave a comment but hit subscribe. I'd love to hear from you all. I'd love to hear what you all think, and I will come out with another video soon.